Render is about to explode and I will tell you why. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Doug and today's video I'm going to explain to you why Render is about to explode in the coming months and also give you my short-term and bull run top Render price prediction. So let's start this video off with what's actually going on with the Render price since my video of last week. So during last week's video, Render was trading around $9 and I already mentioned that Render is probably going down for a liquidity grab, and I already gave orders as well on YouTube and on Twitter. And yeah, Render had a really good liquidity grab which I actually called 20 days ago. Because if we go on Twitter, you can see this post on November 30th, and what she was actually saying is, if you want a long trade, this is the area between 670 and 570, and I even said 11.80 is the next big target, which was literally the top, and then we can go for this long area. And as you can see what happened yesterday, Render actually entered perfectly in this area after topping at 11.80 as I called. But again, at the end of the video I will talk about my short-term Render prediction, buying and selling targets and more, so definitely watch until the end. But let's continue with what actually happened during this week. So basically what happened on December 18 is that the Fed lowers rates but also signals that fewer cuts ahead in 2025, which is actually really good for the economy but not for stock markets and crypto. This is basically why the stock market crashed a lot, crypto crashed a lot, but it was also just manipulation because they made it look like such bad news. And something else which was very interesting is that the S&P 500 fell as much as 2% during Powell's press conference. This is an insane amount. Like in crypto, 2% is nothing, but we're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars, which is in the S&P 500. And then the yield on the 10-year treasury note jumped to just over 4.5%, the highest level in more than 6 months. This is basically something where you actually store your money and then you can get 4.5% every single year over 10 years. So yeah, this is something which isn't good for stock and for crypto, because if rich people can get a guaranteed 4-5% per year, they will probably put their money into treasuries and bonds and not in stocks. But again, these kinds of things are to scare you. Like, we're still in a bull market, we haven't seen the bull run top, we're not even close to it. It will still happen in my opinion between February 2025 and April 2025, so you shouldn't get worried about these kinds of drops and liquidity drops. I will talk about that more at the end of the video, but let's continue with some bullish news about Render. So once again, what I was noticing this week is that the burning is getting more and more. Last week, the epoch. So basically every week there's a minting, which is basically an operator reward, and a burning. Last week the burning was like 16,800 and 15,000 was the minting. This week the burning is 31,500 Render and the rewards or the minting is 15,000, so that's almost double. So this is actually looking very good, and this is a very big step for Render to becoming deflationary. But there's something else which literally shocked me again this week, because basically during last week's video we were talking about that Render in 13 days was already around like $280,000 in Render token burned from real world GPU usage. And this week they added another like 200,000, bringing the total for December over $500,000 in Render burned from real world GPU usage. And we still have 11 days in December. Like, a lot of people ask me in the comments, Doc, talk about the utility of Render. This is utility. Like, Render is the biggest decentralized network in the world, which has unlimited GPU power, which is being used by artists, AI applications and movie theaters. So the higher this burning goes in value, the higher the usage of the network is. So this is the main utility. rent GPUs to artists, movie theaters, AI companies and ever. And when you see the burning going up, because every token used on the network or everything which is bought with fiat results in render token being burned. And yes, once again, this is just the beginning, because if you didn't know yet, the biggest thing to come to render is Blender. It even rhymes. But if you didn't know yet, Blender is a free and open source software which basically focuses on the world's best 3D CG technology. So this is basically something which demands a lot of GPU power. It's insanely high quality content creation, and this kind of open source software has 2 to 3 million users. It's already partnered with Render. It is in a beta as well, so they're going to be implemented to Render. And once they get implemented to Render, the burning will skyrocket, because 2-3 million more people, if they even use 1 render a month or 10 render a month, we're talking about 2 to 3 million, even 10 million plus render tokens burned. And this will make it so deflationary, will cause a supply shock, because all of that render will be bought from exchanges and burned. So this is what I'm waiting for. I'm actually giving you updates about the burning, and most people don't realize that the burning is backed one by one by the utility of the project. It's a decentralized GPU network which basically connects GPUs in the entire world. So when you see that burning number skyrocketing, you know the network and the project is doing really well. And this is what I'm waiting for. So I really hope that before we really run in the first quarter of the year, Render will have a fully Blender integration, because that will literally shock everyone. It's not even a lie. If we get 2-3 million users using Render, everyone will FOMO, everybody will talk about it, and it will be the greatest catalyst you've ever seen in crypto. And still, this isn't the only thing that happened this week, because once again, even though it was a small number, a weekly update, Render added 2,000 more holders. It's not that much, but Render really had a shitty week with the price action. Like, Render went down significantly, and even though that we went down a lot, we still added holders, we still had great volume, meaning people are getting into Render. Sometimes big traders like big whales, they wait for these targets. They're not gonna buy tops. They have a lot of money and they will just wait. And when these dips occur, they will just buy a lot. That's why you see the price rise so fast as well again. So yeah, another 2,000 holders added. Really nice. Next week's video hopefully will get more than that, but so far this week is looking really good for Render despite the price being lowered. But you don't always have to focus on the price. Utility is going up, holders is going up, price will follow. And before I talk about the second part in this video, which is basically my short-term and bull run top price prediction, if you want to claim a free $500 airdrop, just go to the top of the description and click on the Bybit airdrop link. Once you're at the Bybit airdrop link, you will see my name and Bybit, and you will see that you can claim a $500 position airdrop. So all you have to do is register through this link, deposit within 7 days, and get your free $500 airdrop. And don't waste this, because it's an exclusive deal and $500 can change your life in a bull run. So what happened during this week is really easy to understand, because what we're seeing here is liquidity grab. So what we're seeing here is liquidity grab before we go up, but this liquidity never got touched. So basically what we're seeing here is, if you draw the bottom here, is that this liquidity has never been touched. So the people who bought here, who longed here, were just riding up, and the market never wants you to make profit. That's why it might even go up by this much. So this is really a very big uptrend and then come down, take out all these people who started and then just pump up again. We had the same thing here. So basically in the beginning of August, let's just take a look at it. So it's really easy to understand. That's why I actually called this as well in the beginning of November. So take a look at this liquidity. So we got this liquidity, then it went up, down, never got touched again, up and then down, and they don't want these people to win. So what they do is they crush these people, grab all the liquidity and then send it. And I'm expecting this as well, because this is the bottom probably, and then they went up a lot just like they did here. Look how just alike it is. It went up, down, and then basically they grabbed it. So this might occur as well. So what we can see here is just up here break, liquidity grab, and that even isn't rare because look at this. So basically what happened, we went up, we took out all this liquidity here. So basically, let's take a look again. All this liquidity here. So it went basically up from like $5.70 really fast to like $8.30, then grabbed all the liquidity and sent off. Here again, this liquidity got grabbed and then sent off. And this wasn't enough because these people still had entries and they got crushed here. So it doesn't matter. The market always takes back. That's why I always say taking profits is important. And also what I always recommend, not financial advice, this is what I do myself, have a holdback and a cashback. So basically what happened today is a lot of people, they bought like $6 here. So what I did, I bought like $6 and then around like $7.20 or right now I sold that buy. Even though it's going way higher in my opinion, it doesn't matter because it's free money on that 20%. And a lot of people, what they do is when they just sell here to take profit and it goes up to like here 8.6, they buy again because they get FOMO. You don't need your cash to win the entire time. You made your profits here, maybe you bought 7 as well, sold it at like 10 or maybe 9, made another like 40%, sold it, and you wait for opportunities. Like these are incredible opportunities. But also what's hard to understand is, let's say we have like these basic levels. So what kind of levels we had here? So we had a Fibonacci level here at like 870. This is what I shared last week's video on Twitter. We had some interesting buy at like 795. Then again we had an EMA 100 at like 7, so we bought here as well. So this is all I'm sharing from my previous YouTube video. And then of course what I had here was a buy here for the liquidity grab. So let's say we had 4 buys which I all shared. And then what most people do is, what they cannot understand is, let's say we got like 100 render pairs. So I buy 100 render here. I buy 200 here, 300 here, 400. The lower the go, the bigger your buy should be. But what happens is this sometimes. So basically they have 100 here, it gets entered and it gets sent off. And then what they have is FOMO because they had 200, 300, 400 buy orders here. That's basically what happened here. Let's take this example. So we're just going to go down. So you had these buy orders. So what happened? They get FOMO because these monies, this 300 and 400 buy orders didn't get filled. So what happens here is once this goes up again here, they get FOMO and they put in this money. And then of course, this is what the market wants. And then the market does this, literally. And these orders, like this order here, 400 render, it went up by like 25%. You could have made 100 free renders, sold and waited. So never get FOMO about cash. This is once again not financial advice. This is exactly what I do. You have your holdback. Like I myself have a render holdback. I don't touch that bag at all. It's to sell in Q1. But I also have a cashback. And cashback is just the faster something goes up, the faster you should take profits. This example as well. 740. We went up really fast here to like 10. This is basically an increase of like 35% in 2 days. If you gain 35% in 2 days, it's out. Grab the cash and done. Just wait for better opportunities. And again, I have a free Telegram group which I will give at the end of the video. I post a lot of Twitter. I just tell about my buy order. So the data is all there, but it's really hard for people to stick to the plan. But yeah, I basically talk now about my risk management, but let's continue with the short-term price prediction. So the first question is actually what happened here? Why did we get denied here? So really easy. This is like, let's take a Fibonacci here from the top. Like it works a lot because these are levels a lot of people trade. So the 0.618 is a very strong one. So as you can see, it got denied here, it went down, and then it kept going down, and even below this week to take out this liquidity. So this will be one of the next targets to go to. So it has to break this 10.11. So if we take a look here and make some horizontal lines, we can see that we have to break this one here, and then of course we have to break this one in the short term. So these are the two big main targets. But when we can break this one, there's not really left anything for all-time high. This is exactly the double top. This is resistance. If we break, we just go through all-time high and enter discovery mode, and that's when the fun begins. But the first important step is to break this one. So we need to get in this area, maybe like this, and then just get denied maybe a little bit. And then with one momentum, we gotta push through. So this was needed for the uptrend. Like in my videos, I draw these lines, but it's basically saying this is what needed. It's not like forecasting the future. Nobody knows what's going to happen. It's just if we want to go to that like 15 level and break all-time high, we have to break this. Like this is the resistance we draw. Again, for support levels, like this was an incredible buy. Like usually you don't go lower than this. So in my last week's video, what I forgot maybe to draw is this support level, because I didn't think it was gonna get this low. In my opinion, like $7 was the bottom. I even talked about it, like $7 here. We broke down a little bit more. Can happen, usually doesn't happen, but as I explained like in the beginning, liquidity grabs like this to take out other people from winning happen a lot. So this is like basically support. This is also what we're seeing here is basically, if we draw it to the bottom, it's basically our previous resistance. So this previous resistance, it got tested, it's a support resistant flip. So this is looking very bullish, like a very nice grab. And once again, this could basically occur as well in that we go up by this lot, by this all-time high, get a really nasty liquidity grab here, and then pump up. Like this is always possible. Like this is, and then pump up like this. So it happened before. This is exactly this pump. Maybe not that big, but we go lower here and then pump really hard, because liquidity grabs are like fuel to pump up. So then again, we talked about buying targets here on Twitter in my last video. We bought here, we bought here, we bought here. So we will start trying to sell here. And then we will draw the lines again and wait for opportunities. Again, this one will be the best buy. Like going below this will be incredible. And if we don't hit it, it doesn't matter. We keep our cash. Cash is always important, especially in bull runs. You get these kinds of weeks every few days. Like look at this. This is a week. 1 week later, this was another week. Maybe 2 weeks later, this be a week. So you never know. That's why it's always important to have basic risk management. Never go all in. Never have FOMO, because the market will win. Like people who FOMO, people who buy high, sell low, will always lose. It's basic risk management. But again, let's continue now with my bull run top price prediction. So when I do my bull run top price prediction, what we always like to do is again the Fibonacci. So let's take out the Fibonacci. So we actually here trying to break the 0.382, hopefully just close it daily above this, get done with this. Again, you can see the next resistance, the 8.5, this 9.70, which is basically the retest week here as well, is another resistance. So there's quite few resistance basically to break all-time high. Like the main one, of course, is this one here, this area which we talked in the short-term prediction. But yeah, we're gonna have people shorting here, even shorting here. So you have to like be prepared for that. That's when you buy low and the price goes up like 30%, you take profit. But let's say all these things get crushed. Like the main thing we want to break, like let me put this right again. The main thing we want to break is this all-time high. Once we get in this all-time high, nobody will be underwater, everybody will be winning, and we will have a significantly great bull run. So everybody knows I tried this many times before, so I'll not keep it hard. You want to break all-time high and then probably break this 1.68. So just break it. You'll probably get denied here. We see it with many coins. Come back down. So there's two options here. You can get a harsh comeback here to all-time high. So definitely possible. Or an easy one just below. So we saw coins like Sui did to actually dislike, came back down even further than all-time high. So what Sui basically did is got denied at all-time high, came down really hard, got past this and did a small one. So this option as well. But then it's important to go to this area. So right now what we're seeing with Sui, for example, is that it's already at this area. And it's actually having really good support at this area. So it's really, really strong. And that's what I want to see from Render as well. Like we want to see Render get through this all-time high, which is becoming a pain in my ass, to be honest, and just pump through, because after that it's all air. There's no resistance here. As you can see, nobody ever bought here, nobody ever sold here. It's pure, like, no resistance. And yeah, this is the really big important thing. Like my bull run top target, I talked about it a lot of times. It's basically I expect this to break this 50, but once again we have to do these steps first. Like I can talk about tops, like the top could be 50, the top in my opinion could even be 100. Like with the strength Render has, it's definitely possible, but it depends really on how fast can we break this. Like if we break all-time high, like this happened as well. Like let's go back to March, we broke all-time high here. And it went really fast up. So it went really fast, and then unlucky for Render, it was actually the top of Q1. But you just saw the fuel which it brings. And once again, here it will bring it as well. So what I'm saying right now is short term. I talked about risk management. I talked about my short term price prediction. If you have any questions, put them down below. My bull run top price prediction, I really believe we're going to break this 4.618 easily and even go maybe double that, because we did that before. Like basically in Q1, we broke the 4.618 as well. So it's definitely not something new. Other coins like Sui are already at their 2.618 before the actual bull run begins. But yeah, I'm not going to dive too deep in the bull run top because we haven't done these steps. Like after we do these steps, I can get more into the next step. So the first important thing, break all-time high. That's what we're focusing on. But until then, there's some resistance here. We're gonna talk about buy orders and sell orders on Twitter and Telegram. So yeah, once again, if you have any questions, comment them down below and I will try to answer them all. There's a lot of bot comments, sadly I cannot delete them all, but I will try my best for it. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like if you did. Also follow me at TheRealDog on Twitter to know when I post about Render buying targets, selling targets, bullish news about crypto and bullish news about Render. Also join my Telegram Dog Crypto Lounge, which is basically a free Telegram. I even shared the bottom buys here around like $6.20, even going down to $6.10 when it actually happened. The link is at the top of the description and the pinned comment. So you want to be in this lounge, is where I share everything you need to know. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more crypto content and YouTube. Until next time.